Hi, beautiful. Who are you? Cancer. I was just listening. I was just hearing my little boy. I just want you to know that he's right next door or in the next room. If the microphone picks him up, know that he's safe and sound. So, Cancer, this is your monthly for November. I know we have just entered into this month a couple of days. And you're probably already feeling it. Depending on when you listen to this video, we have already had a really powerful new moon at the very beginning on the first of the month, and then we're going to have another really powerful super moon in the middle of November. And as I feel it, I just feel like there's this kickoff. There's this I don't have anything to back that up with, just other than a feeling of something. We're going to look back at this month as like this is when it all started. And I understand like 2012 to 2020, like there's been these big defining moments in our time that really has kicked things into gear. But like I think that the month of November is a game changer. Okay, I do apologize. Like I see my shadow is a little bit annoying. Maybe that serves a purpose, that the shadow is there with me, that we have the light and the shadow. It's really not that late in the afternoon here in Sweden, but it already gets really, really dark. So I'm working with all the electricity, the fake lighting. So take it for what it is. Okay, people. I also want to say, if you're a subscriber, if you're not, please subscribe. If you are, I right now have an offer out to get a session with me, or different sessions, automatic writing or a video reading just like this, or maybe like a little energy checkup with your dog or cat or horse or bird. That's in the comment section. It's not in the description box. So it's not a way to get more subscribers. It's just that you have to be a subscriber in order to read what's in the comment section. In the comment section. No, not a comment section. I'm getting a no. I was like, what is it then? It's the community tab. So please check that out if that sounds interesting. And you can pay by donation. I want to give back. I want to yeah. What's going on for you, Cancer, for the month of November, please? We're going to start with an overall energy here. Money. Interesting. As I was just talking about donation. Money. So we're starting with an overall energy, and then we're going to go deeper and deeper into this energy. And at the end, we're going to have your angels come out and get some extra information there. Money. Find a way to abundance. I'm just feeling like there's a lot on your plate right now with this card. It's just getting out of struggle and getting into, I just feel like you're doing it all alone. Doesn't mean that you're not necessarily in a relationship, but whether you're in a relationship or single, it feels like you're doing a lot on your own, or feel quite lonely in your journey. I feel like there's a lot that's on your plate, a lot to deal with. Because it's the money card, it might be that you're low on money, short on money, that you maybe just never get, anything extra, or you just, you get from paycheck to paycheck, or like however this shows up for you. Seeing a lot of fish in the sea. So I just feel this, I'm not going to pretend I read the Bible, because I didn't. It's just that expression of turning water to wine, or like, I'm just getting that story of like fishermen were out to the sea trying to catch some fish, and was like, and it was none. And then Jesus said something, completely butchering the story. Jesus said something, and then there were a lot of fish in the sea. There's something about, like, instead of seeing what's not there, to start to see what you want to be there, if that makes sense. Like, you can't perpetuate the story that doesn't work for it to change. Find your way to abundance. Like, just, you can ask your brain, like, can we just find a way today that just eases it up a little bit. Okay. Going deeper into this message, what do we have for Cancer, please, for the month of November? Yeah, I just feel like you're really locked in the way that you're viewing things. Never-ending story. Look at that. I'm sorry, Cancer. So I know this is a tough one. Trust me, I've been there. Yeah, I see this. It's almost like a line that's going up like this, and on like this side, there's like so much action. There's so much going on. And on this other side where you're at, it's like really empty. We have a golden wolf and a silver wolf. And it's like you see that you're more tuned in with the silver wolf, but the golden one is there. It's not as big. It has started to show its face. It's in the proximity of where you're at, like in the way that you can think, in the way that things can show up for you. I just feel like you're more focused on the gray, or more focused on, like I said, what has not come around, or what isn't. Rather, and it's like everything is like lined up right up outside your door, right outside the other side of the veil. There's like so much opportunity, transformation, music, relationship, wisdom, growth, movement. I just see all these things that just, and for whatever reason, I don't know why, I see the Batman symbol. That if you ever saw any of the Batman movies, the thing was that you had this lighting. It's a little bit interesting because of the lighting here today, that we had like, wow, that means something. I can't sort of fully grasp it. There's something about having that sort of sign, the symbol for Batman, and projecting the light onto that small sign up until the wall makes the sign look really, really big. So there's something about the way that you project your focus on the small thing is going to make it really big. Okay? And I don't know if Batman, I guess I wouldn't, if I got Spider-Man, I wouldn't have, because that's not how Spider-Man is being shown. Like that symbol, it doesn't. So maybe that's why, the only reason why I get Batman, or why I don't get like another superhero or whatever. Okay. And then a never-ending story. So this is literally about when you feel like it doesn't really matter what you do. Like it seems like however much you try and you shift and you get up again and you try something different, it's like it doesn't work. Like the never-ending story, the feeling of like, whenever is this really going to end? And again, I'm feeling like we're sitting on top here, like really frustrated, maybe even feeling a little bit burnt out. And underneath it sits the, like, here's the heart, here's the goodies. Like, it's like you're sitting on it. So it's not that it's out of reach. It's not that it's not possible. And we have 3 and 7. So 3 stands for manifestation and creativity and celebration even. And 7 is all about like being done. Like you've done enough, Cancer. There's really not much more than you can do, than you've already done. And if we add up 7 and 3, we have a 10. So there's a completion. I just feel like this is you sort of shifting gear or shifting your focus. And as you just shift your focus, I'm trying to say this is in the most like practical and tangible way, because it's not a wishy-washy. It's interesting because this term, the wishy-washy, has now started to like become a thing. I said it in another video, and ever since I said wishy-washy myself, and because I had my son here hearing that I said wishy-washy, and so he picked it up and said wishy-washy. Like that was a funny, like how it sounded. Was funny. And now I'm starting to hear it like everywhere. I hear it in series. I hear it in, podcasts, in like whatever shows up, like the wishy-washy expression. The first time I heard it was like, is that like a common thing? I think there's something about either you literally have heard wishy-washy, or you will hear it now, Or there's something else, like there's an expression that sort of is around that. The second that you hear that, like stop in your tracks and think about what you're thinking about. Think about what you're just doing. It can be something like a number lining up. It can be a synchronistic event that is like, okay, 111 just seems to follow you around. Just know that when you're in that specific moment, you're doing something that is in alignment with where you want to go. In that moment, you're doing something right. It doesn't mean that you can do something wrong. It just means that you're doing stuff that is not in alignment with the path that you say you want to go on. Does that make sense? There's no right or wrong in the sky. It's just, am I on my path to where I have chosen to go, or am I off it? You can't really be off your path. But like, are you going in opposition to it, or are you going in the flow of it? So this never-ending story. Yeah. Yeah, you're probably quite fatigued, Cancer. Okay. More here for Cancer, please. And it's interesting because usually I like to get more cards on the table before I really get into the story. I just got that one card, and it's like we really dealt with this card first, and then we really dealt with this card. So it's like, I think that the less that you have on your table, like that's my initial feeling was that, oh my God, like there's so much on your plate right now. And even if it's one thing on your plate, that thing sucks the living energy out of you. There's something that's really demanding of you. And I'm just thinking really one thing at a time. And I think that's the success here, to just do one thing at a time. And the more you can clear out anything else, like be really clear about what you're doing in this very moment, and don't like to not have all these other things open or going simultaneously, or, you know, I think that's really what's going to turn things around for you. A change in the wind. Okay, so this is good. A change in the wind is good. So it might also be a little bit that you are resisting this change, and your initial reaction might be, I'm really not. I'm really trying. I'm going as hard as I can, like, to make this happen. I just know for myself, like I just wanted you to really see it. Trying to like where the lighting is best. Okay, so I know for myself that I've had these goals, or I've been wanting to go places at certain times, and I think I'm all set, and I think I'm all there, and I know the path, right? And then there's suddenly all these things to take care of, and they're factual things. They're not things that I make up in my head, or like that I don't get off my couch, although that sometimes is the thing as well. Like it's just really hard to get going. I just feel like there's been things like the levels of iron in my body has been so low to the point where I didn't really function. I had a D vitamin deficiency, and so the body really was not like up to par to really do anything. D vitamin deficiency and iron deficiency, even blood loss, like really low blood counts. It was like, how did I even function? And that looks like, well, I dealt with that, so that's the reason why I couldn't really do anything. Or it would be like, oh my God, like there's so much in my family. There's so much in my family going on. I have to tend to it. I have to tend to my oldest son or my youngest son. I have to address this with my sister. I can't just sort of ignore them. They need help. Or one of my best friends are going through something right now. Like I have to show up. It just seemed like I always had something that were so important, that I never got on with the things that I needed to change. And even how real or tangible or practical that looked, after a while, it's like, I wonder if this is something that I sort of attract that keeps me so busy I don't really actually get to do the change that I say that I want, but probably am a little bit fearful of. So I'm being given that story to tell about myself for a reason. So be honest with yourself, Cancer. Is there anything that you're doing right now that like it looks like you have all these things to do, and money might be an excuse. And trust me when I say, when people say like, you can do it if you want to, well, you go and do whatever you want with yourself, because I really can't, because I can't afford to pay rent, you know? And so you really can't do in the moment what you want to. That's really, really hard. As a single parent, or like as a, you know, it's hard. So, but can it be the case that you're keeping money away? Because if you had them, then what could you do? Like, just look into that a little bit, because there is a change in the wind. There is an opportunity here to turn things around, to open things up, and to really go for what you want. And 12 there is a masculine energy, which is about like plan and strategies, and sort of structure things up. Like, have a calendar where you even put down meditate. If you're supposed to, like, don't leave anything to, that's just meditation, so I'm not going to put that in the calendar. I'm just putting work in there, or like important meetings or whatever. And like, if you can put everything in there that you want to do in a day and treat it equally as important as anything else, I think that also there's something about getting more stressful things that you need to remember, or that you even want to do, off your body and onto paper. Seems really important right now. Okay, going deeper still for Cancer. What do we have here? And like, when Cancer get into this place, when you really get into this, like, oh my God, I don't know how to like work this out, or like, I just don't feel like doing anything. And Cancer, I'm not saying that any other sign is not really feeling it, or is really, but you're just the kindest, most sensitive. Like, when you're getting into this place, you really struggle, and I feel you there. Okay, going deeper still, what do we have for Cancer, please, for the month of November? Okay, you actually want me to switch decks? Okay, that's it. Okay, sorry, one thing at a time here. That I just told you, one thing at a time. We don't want to have too much on the table simultaneously. Cancer, November. Foundation and achievements and love begins. Look at that. Okay, so I was going for, I usually am like, I'm usually going for, I have an idea, like I should go for that deck now. And I'm being like guided to, no, we're going to go elsewhere. Today I got to pick it up, and I even got to shuffle through it once or twice. Did I? And then I was guided away to like another deck. So I just feel like, even if you have gotten started with something that you initially thought that you wanted to do, or initially felt like this is like on the right path, to really listen, really pay attention to where you're being guided right now. Whether that's like, okay, that's gonna be a hard one for some of you guys, but that can even be in the relationship. You have just entered into this relationship. Maybe you're just 1 month into it, 2 months into it. Everything felt so good, or 2 weeks, because everything is like so quick these days. I just feel like yesterday's 2 years is today's 2 weeks. Like, you know, instantaneously. You don't have to try anything out anymore, because we just feel it. So there's something about like, you thought this was the thing or the person, or like this is it, and you're entering into it, and really soon you're like, or is it? And then there's this disappointment. So this is not the person either. Never ending story. Whenever is it your turn? Or you're getting going with like applying for a job, and it can either be like you're getting really, really close to getting that job. Maybe you're one of the last 2 people, and it ends up to going to the other person. And it's just that, like, whenever is it going to be your turn to get that job? Or you have applied for a job, and you're in that job, and it looked great on paper. It looks like just what you wanted. And 2 months in, you're like, oh God, why did I apply for this job? Like, I'm not supposed to be here. And then to actually trust that intuition. It doesn't have to be that big. It doesn't have to be that big, because that is quite big. Or you just moved to a new house and that house feels wrong and you just bought it. Like, oh my God, now I have to sell it. Like, I don't even know how to get started with that. And if it's not that big, it can be that you are like, you're planning a trip, or you're planning to go, like, just go visit someone, and you've said yes to something, and on your way there, it hasn't happened yet, but like, as time passes, you start to get the notion that I probably shouldn't do this. That just, even if you have gotten started with something, or have gotten the ball rolling on something, sometimes we need to get the ball rolling on something to then feel like, wait a minute, now when I feel like where we're going, I actually don't want to then have the guts or have the spirit to just listen in to your intuition and where you're being guided right now, that halfway through, like, okay, I thought I was going to have this deck, but actually I'm not. And it's okay. It's not a failure that you didn't right away get that. Refusing to see is on the bottom, that you right away, like, it didn't get it. Maybe we need to get 2 steps into one direction to feel that it's wrong, and then that's helpful. So that was a long winding answer to just say that as you start something, as you get the notion to maybe you need to go in a different direction, try to trust that and start to follow that sort of intuition or that nudge. What's coming out instead here is really beautiful. Foundation and achievements. And I get both. I mean, these rainbows just never ends right now. Never ending story of beauty. So we have those two. So it's like we're having this love begins, and the rainbow is a little bit more like subtle, right? We don't see the color. It's not as bold, and the colors are not as bold either. And here we're moving into like a bolder rainbow, bolder colors. We're seeing it more clearly, right? So I just, and the rainbows has just kept coming up in these readings. And the rainbow to me represents like a bridge, the rainbow bridge from one place to another. Follow that rainbow, follow your intuition, follow the synchronicities, dare to follow the numbers. Like, however that's language, or however that conversation is for you, like however you are in conversation with spirit, like, dare to follow that. Love begins. I think, like, you're going to get out of this. This is going to end. The month of November, this is what I'm saying. It's a change there. Something is shifting in the month of November, both collectively and then therefore individually. And 1 and 4, 1 is a new beginning, brand new energy, brand new presentation of something. Can be an actual relationship, a love relationship. Doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic partnership, but it can be like a true friend, the best business partner you ever had, a dog, like your soulmate dog, however this shows up. And 4, which is a foundation, it's your heart. It's laying the ground, doing the groundwork for something, like you've done the groundwork here for sure, to where you're headed. And adding those up, we have 1 and 4, which is 14, which is the new beginning for the heart. So there's a new experience here. There's something is changing. And the reason why it's changing is because you're not defending anymore. You're not allowing anymore. You're not like refusing to see, as we had here, refusing to see. Maybe that was you in the past a little bit. Like, I don't want to see the solution, because if I do see the solution, it may be, something to be scared of, because change is never easy. So love begins. You're stepping into this much more. It can be feeling more empathy, more love for yourself towards whatever you have around you, whatever you have got going, to just lighten up a little bit on that. Get softer as you treat yourself, not judge yourself so harshly. And then the foundation and achievements. This is literally like getting to look at whatever thing you've been wanting to create for such a long time. And it's not that it hasn't been there. It's been there all along. It's just that now for the first time, you're allowing it in. And just look at those rainbow colors and rainbow sizes. Like it's just going to get stronger and stronger. I think also the rainbow bridge is a representation of a minute ago or however long ago, you just didn't see how to get from there to there, like how to get from this place that you're in or this tricky situation that you're in to this other situation. I just don't feel like it's years and years in the making. I feel like really quickly, as you just sort of turn your attention to where you're being guided, that's going to pick up pace so quickly. Okay, now we want that deck. One more, and then we're going to have your angels. Add some, look at that. Another number 1, strengthening the bonds. And this strengthening bonds is what it says on the bottom. Number 1 again, new beginning, new energy, new start, alignment. I think the strengthening bonds with everything that you're doing, when you're initially come from a place that you're just used to hardship, you're used to having to fight for whatever it is, like it just never comes easy, a never-ending story with the negative stuff. As you go into more and more of the positive, it can have like a feeling of like, when is the other shoe gonna drop? This is too good to be true. Or those silly expressions like, if it feels like it's too good to be true, it probably is. No, it's not. In this case, it really isn't. This is about strengthening the belief that easy is good, easy is right. You know, you don't have to fight that hard anymore to get to someplace. And because you haven't fought that hard, doesn't mean that it's not as important, as valuable, as worthy. So you're strengthening bonds with your future. This can also be that you're sort of visualizing how you wanted to, like, just to sit with pen and paper and write down what it is that you want to feel, want to live. The tip there is to just write it down and then speak it out loud and get as many senses as you can in there. However that works for you. The month of November, you're turning this around. You're going to find your way to abundance. And listen, Cancer, the person who has been to the most deepest, darkest, most horrific place is a person that has the farthest to go into the light, right? The rubber band analogy, like we have a rubber band sitting around the finger, and if you don't go anywhere, you're just sort of in the middle, a little Swedish, as we would say, like it's just, everything is average. But if you have sort of taken that rubber band and pulled it far back, like down into the dirt, into the ditches, into the really dark place, and then as you start to let go, as far as you've been into the dark, as far you will go into the light. So when abundance opens up for you, that's the wrong way to say that. When you open up for the abundance the abundance that's already there, it's just not small pennies. That's when it rains, it pours. And it works for both negative and positive. So the never-ending story, like I said, we can also have a never-ending story, but in the good, positive, never-ending story in rainbows. Here's another bridge, and here's another bridge. Here's another way to get from here to there. Here's another way. Here's another opportunity. This time, you won't say no to it. And as a result, you might see that, things got really quiet there, so I didn't have to tend to so many things, which allowed you more space to say yes to certain things. Okay, final thoughts, final inspirational messages here from your angels. What do we have for Cancer, please? You got this, Cancer. Look for a sign. Yep. What we already been saying. Look for those numbers. Look for wishy-washy. Look for those rainbows. Look for what, like I said, however your conversation is with the universe. Or if it's just a hint, if it's a gut feeling, if it's like, well, I don't talk to the universe, okay? Well, you constantly do though, because that's how your soul is communicating with you, is through the emotions. So when you feel down, it just means that your soul is saying, we're not on the same path now. We're not on the same wavelength. And when you feel really, really happy, that's your inner being saying, we're now on the same path. Meaning we're on the path that you say that you want to go in or on. Look for a sign, look out for where you're being guided, and do the best that you can with what you have in every given moment to follow that. And you're good, Cancer. Whatever this is going to turn around, it's going to work out. It might even be like a windfall of money, or like an upgrade of something, or like a promotion, or an unexpected like inheritance, or however this is going to show up for you. That's what I have for you for the month of November. Yeah, if you're interested in a personal reading like this, and actually by donation, I understand now that maybe you feel like I can't even like get help like this, but that's one of the reasons why I want to offer it. And I haven't said this to any other sign. I've only offered these video readings here on YouTube because I just feel overwhelmed to sort of present other stuff here. I have other things that I do for clients here in Sweden, and so a couple of those offers, yeah, I wrote about all about it. So if you're interested, and by donation meaning pay what you can whenever you can. I don't even notice, like, I won't keep track. I have this offer for this month, the month of November. So if there's any time to take that chance, like, do it now. The only thing you have to do for me, and it really isn't to catch more subscribers. Like I said, you're the only sign, and Cancer is not really that high in numbers in watch time. So the only thing you have to do to get to that offer is to subscribe, because then you have access to the community tab. Okay? Thank you so much for watching, guys. Take care. Sending you a big hug. This is going to work out. Bye.